Managing fish pond and preventing disease from affecting yield in fish farming is a complicated process that can involve many different techniques and solutions. If you are considering fish farming, we have an episode of the program Aqua Farming help you determine whether a fish farming enterprise is feasible for your particular situation, including more factors to consider when starting a fish farm in Nigeria. But it does not cover all possibilities. This means answering yes to most questions won't guarantee success, just as answering no won't mean automatic. To help farmers protect against waterborne infections, the program for farming has dedicated episodes to understanding and improving water quality, a land-based hatchery that can help you in running a successful. In addition to sharing some expertise, we have compiled detailed answers to our most frequently asked questions when it comes to aquaculture. Stay tuned and take a look.
Let us point to the fact that he mentioned sources of water. Let me let you know that there are, depending on how you want to define, let us say we want to define based on salinity level. Then we have the fresh water. Fresh water, like the one you drink, that's fresh water. The one in your well, the one in the river, River Niger, River Benue, because the salinity level is 0 parts per thousand. Parts per thousand, that is the measurement of salinity. Salinity is salt content. Now, there is brackish water. Brackish water, for example, your lagoon, the lagoon. The salinity level is between 0 and 0.5 part per thousand. And then there is marine water that can be as high as 30 part per thousand, 25 part per thousand, like the Atlantic Ocean, the sea. So now, when you now want to culture your fish, you are considering which water can I use. If you take your catfish and take it to a marine water, what will happen? They cannot survive because they are not. If you want to check on your catfish, even if you drop a simple salt on them, what happens? They jump out from that container because they cannot survive it. So understand that in case you are looking at, okay, after all, Cross River State is a maritime state. You have your border with the what? With the Atlantic Ocean. There are people who take advantage of that water for their own aquaculture, but they are not going there to culture catfish. When you say, okay, which one is good for commercial purpose, in your environment, catfish may be moving more, but it does not mean there is no market for those marine species. So your target market is what you must first consider. Who are you producing for? Okay, that is one. Another one is, it gave you that much time to ask that, okay, to ask questions, and nobody has. What are the prevailing challenges in aquaculture? Is it that smooth? Can you just jump into it and then you think the money is just there? Because anytime you mention million, this daddy was just jumping and see the money. It's not that. So, and then, if what we are organizing is cooperative, but what you must first be is the fish farm, Abi, what are you doing cooperative on when nobody can practice fish farming here? So if that, I'm saying as a fish farmer, you must first be successful. You must you must have the technical know-how. And please, after now, ensure you invest so much in understanding fish farming. This 1 hour of lecture is not enough. Go ahead and read and know. If you have existing fish farmers in the environment, move close to them to learn. Now, Let me say something that he did not mention, as well, maybe he omitted that, is that of all your cost of production, feeding alone takes more than 80 to 85%. Do you get that? So if you have spent money on, oh, you built your concrete tank, or you dug your eating pond, and then, oh, I bought net, I have waste balance, I have this one, you thought, oh, you are done. You are just starting. You have not, that amount, everything you have spent, it's not even up to 10% of what you will need to feed them for 6 months. And then, okay, how do you now do your calculation in case you want to get your loan? You want to know, at least you must know how much you will require before you ask for the loan. Understand this, we call it the feed conversion ratio. It means if you are going to breed your fish to have an average weight of 1 kg, then you must be ready to give that fish 1 kg of feed. 1:1. Do you understand that? 1:1. Now, in case you now feed your fish, let's say 2 kg, only for you to get 1 kg of feed, that is a waste. There's no way you are going to make profits. Because you will not say, because I have spent so much, and then increase the price of your own fish above others in the market. Do you understand that? All right. He mentioned water quality. Water quality. When you talk about water quality, we are talking about the physical qualities, the chemical qualities, and the biological qualities. Physical quality, for example, the transparency you get to the water, as you get to your pond. How transparent is this water? If you are operating on an intensive level is a very high level where you operate with a water recyclatory system. A water recyclatory system in the sense that you have your water, you have your pond, and then the water there, you may not even need to bring in new water into that pond for more than 1 week. The reason is that the water is going out, is going to a filtration system, and all the dirt is being removed. And then, even with the UV lights, to even attack whatever pathogens you may have in the system, and then the water gets pumped back into the bow tower, where it will now come back to your pond by gravity. And then the circulation continues that way. That is a water recyclatory system. That's a very, very intensive level. In that case, you may be targeting very clear and clean water. But in your eating pond, have you ever got into any eating pond and you are looking at the flow of the water? No. That is, and there, you are able to, to monitor the quality as well. But it's not as intensive. What we practice most in our environment is the semi-intensive level of aquaculture. Semi-intensive. But in the extensive level, that one you don't even pay attention to the fish. For example, in a reservoir, you have a very large environment, and then you just bought some fingerlings or juvenile or different species, you just pour them there. Maybe you know that at the end of the year, I will come to see what they have become. It means they eat by hierarchy. The piscivorous species among them may be targeting the juveniles and the fingerlings of the herbivorous species. For example, you have catfish that is piscivorous, like carnivorous. When I say piscivorous, it means fish eating fish. Do you understand? Now, you have other small organisms there, and those ones are now looking for them because they can eat. For example, tilapia is only looking for plants because they are herbivorous in nature, right? Why? I will just come there to harvest once in a year. So that's extensive level. Understand that what we are going to be practicing is most likely going to be at the semi-intensive level. But if you have enough investment, you can go into the intensive level, which is very good because growth rate is going to be very good in an intensive level as well. Frequency of feeding. Okay, how frequent should you feed your fish? You feed your fish to satiation. We need to understand that in the culture of Clarias gariepinus, which is our catfish, the African catfish that is common in our environment, there is something they practice, we call the hierarchical feeding. It means the stronger one we eat first. And, you know, your fish, they get to understand you. By the time you start, it's as if you understand the language of the fish you understand your language. I believe our professional here in the field can confirm that you understand the language of the fish, they understand your language. If in the morning, as you get to your pond, maybe when you just start feeding them, there is something you can practice, you can just get there, maybe you hold your bait. By the time you start doing your drum, they know that food is ready. They all come to gather at that point. And then ensure you practice point feeding. Don't just take the food and then you are spreading it around. A particular point, let them be feeding at that point and then be struggling for it. When this one is properly fed, it's going to leave. And then the next one can, until all of them, when they are no longer taking the food, then you stop. Don't just take a formula, oh, I should give them this kg, and then you pack the kg and you pour it. You know the implication of pouring it. It is money you have just poured into the water that way. And your money will be gone because they may not eat it, and then you see your food floating. You have just polluted your water. And what is it? And the one they eat plus that one will decay and become what? Ammonia. Ammonia is what fish excrete. When you get to fish point and you notice that the environment is smelling, that thing you are smelling is called ammonia. And then ammonia, in the process of breaking down, we first break into nitrates, and then you expect it nitrite, and then okay to nitrates. And a particular phase of that process is very poisonous. For the breaking down to continue and be good, you need enough oxygen. And that is why he mentioned aerator the other time, that because your water must be properly oxygenated. If you are going to use your water test, when you want to check the oxygen level, you need, when you have oxygen level of 5 milligram per liter, that is okay. 5 milligram per liter of oxygen. But for all those, your water quality test kits can help you out. Okay, pond protection. Let me just say something, and before I just give you a particular scenario, pond protection. There is this, when you newly stock your pond, everything want to eat that fish. Snake is coming to eat, birds are coming to eat, and there's something you can use to protect your pond. Here, I have used gill nets to cover the pond. Don't worry, you cannot be there to be running after snakes because there may be grass around your eating ponds and you won't see everything. But when you use this gill net will arrest the snake there. You are going to meet the snake there dead. Birds will be arrested there. So ensure if you are going to protect your pond, especially newly stocked ponds, you need the gill net. And let me just round up with this practical experiment. I remember during my time in the Federal University of Agriculture, Aquaculture, I had my high tea in a farm called CA Farms in Ijebu. And there, the white man specifically requested for us because he knows the quality of the students of the Federal University of Agriculture, Aquaculture. And when we got there, he asked a man managing the farm to come out of the farm so that we can handle the hatchery for him. And the first production we had was successful. The second one, when this problem now started, which is what he has always been experiencing. And it is when they hatch the fish, they will be very successful, they will be doing well. After 2 weeks, everything will be dying off. They will be dying off. And we were looking, and then we continued to struggle, looking for ways. And at a particular point, I picked the phone and called the professor in our school. This is what we are experiencing in our farm. What can we do? And I said, is there, okay, you are in Ijebu, Abi. All right. there's this laboratory. There's this laboratory close to you, a veterinary clinic having a laboratory close to you. Take samples to that clinic. Check the samples and you'll be able to know where the problem is coming from. And that is one of the questions I would like to address, so that you will know the information about veterinary clinics around. When you run into problems, you can know how to approach them. So I took samples of the feed, of the water, and then we have a broodstock pond. Samples from there as well, all samples that is available, and I took it to the laboratory. And after their investigation, they discovered a particular organism in the broodstock pond. And if it is the broodstock pond, hey, sorry, what do I mean by broodstock? They are the parent fish. Parent fish, like the father and the mother, the male and the female. That's what they call the broodstock. If you have another set of, if you have a very big pond, you can, and if you are into hatchery, you can have a separate pond for that one. And then we notice that is where the problem is from. How is it affecting the newborn? It is, you know how slimy the body of your catfish is, right? So when we want to do the breeding with, induce the female with about overpraying, or if you are even using overtime, whatever inducement agents you are using, and then you bring out the, the eggs by stripping, and then the sperm of the male, and then by the time you fertilize, and then you, in the process of trying to strip now, as we are stripping, the slime is joining the egg into the bowl before fertilization. Don't worry, we are not here to do the lecture of how to breed fish. And then that is how the organism enters into the egg. And by the time we spread, by the time we incubate the egg, it's already there with them. And by the time they start growing, they will now start dying. And that was how he told us. The doctor now said, how do you treat it? He said, go and give so dosage of metronidazole. And this other one, and this other one, go and apply it. I went back, and then I applied everything. Every fish we have in the hatchery died off. But the broodstock did not die. It means the dosage he actually gave me for the broodstock was too much, so I just made everything floating. For fine, we cleared the environment, we treated the environment, but for the broodstock, they were okay. And then the next production, the whole hatchery is big. The hatchery is bigger than this building, and we have sections. Everything was very successful. You can now appreciate the importance of proper knowledge and scientific research, even in your work. Unlike my farm, unlike my uncle, where I first knew about fish farming, when we got to the pond in the morning, he would dip his hand into the water and say, Femi, Omi-in-law, like this water is warm. He was trying to check temperature and using hand. Excuse me, as a scientist, do you use hand to check temperature? What if your own body's temperature is colder? Do you understand? Instead of the thermometer, he was using hand. So please, if you are going to practice this, ensure you use all the scientific investigations available to you. Get the information about the nearest veterinary clinic because they are going to be useful.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria (ARCN) coordinates the activities of research institutes and is responsible for supervision, regulation, coordination of research activities and programs of higher institutions in Nigeria. And Professor Hamidu Shaributu assumption as Executive Secretary of ARCN in April 2020 has solidified the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria through strategic and meaningful execution of research findings for improvement of the agricultural sector.
For grains, we have the parabolic solar dryers. These are specialized solo dryers used for drying agricultural produce such as whole grains, yam and cassava chips, fruits and vegetables more efficiently. It is made of a special material that concentrates the rays of the sun within the enclosure while eliminating harmful ultraviolet radiation. Products dried are free from contaminants and are hygienic.
The parabolic shaped solar dryer is a need-based technology because virtually when we travel all over the country, you will see by the roadside, you see people drying all sorts of agricultural produce. Some spread their own on bare ground, and by the time the vehicles are moving, the dust stay on the products. The reptiles will come, they will eat whatever they can eat, drop their feces and their urine on it, and the owner comes in the evening to pack everything together and still eat that product. And the product has been contaminated, and we feel this is not right, and it is part of our mandate to make sure that we set it right, and that was what led to this, so that we can solve this problem at the grassroots level. Instead of drying by the roadside, drying on just bare ground in their villages, when they have this as a drying center, everybody in the community can bring their product there, spread on the tray, and they get it dry under hygienic condition that is covered. And the dryer also have another property to screen the ultraviolet ray of the sun, which is also can cause hazard to human health.
Welcome to Federal College of Land Resources Technology, Kuru, Jos, Plateau State.
The atomic absorption spectrophotometer, AFS, is an instrument which is used for the determination of metals that are dissolved in source.
Plantation. Put it Welcome to Production Farms, where we're going to take you around our production tanks and a practical fisheries and integrated farm. We integrate the farming system with a banana and plantain and so many aquatic animals.
Since then, Professor Shaributu has operated as visionary captain by restoring the council's glory with the first ever agricultural television and radio station in Nigeria, with well-equipped studios parading state-of-the-art equipment.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria also has a brand new electronic library to further promote research and visualizations of deep thoughts on agricultural development in Nigeria.
The museum, located in the Senator Abdullahi Adamu Center, is an agricultural museum saddled with the responsibility of keeping records of agricultural findings, discoveries, researches for continuity and history purposes.
ARCN,
promoting agriculture. If you would like to learn more about protecting and controlling your water conditions, this is the program you can always want to stay on your first agricultural TV station in the nation. My name remains Joshua Ishaya. Thank you for being a part of the program where we discuss the frequently asked questions when it comes to fish farming. See you same time, same station. Bye for now.